module, we are going to explore the ASC functionality of the Revolution software tool. And this, in fact, is one of the differentiators of the Revolution software tool, is that it's designed to help optimize reimbursement not only for practices but for ASCs as well. And in today's world, there are many physician practices in which the physicians invest together in a partnership or corporation to form an outpatient center or ASC, sometimes single specialty, sometimes multi-specialty. And as a result, we're also providing those types of physicians, and for that matter, the facilities themselves, with the tools and capabilities needed to analyze ASC reimbursement. Now, this is further important because this year, 2008, the Medicare benchmarks and the methodology surrounding them have changed quite substantially. In prior years, most recently, Medicare reimbursed based on groupers. There were 9 major groupers that CPT codes fit into for the purpose of facility or ASC reimbursement. And this year, this has converted to a wage index-based methodology. And while it's possible over the Internet to determine what your Medicare reimbursement is, it is a fairly elaborate procedure and requires jumping around several different spreadsheets and correlating data to be able to do it. It's much easier to use a tool like the Revolution Software web service, which is available to you anywhere, anytime, in a secure manner, to be able to analyze your ASC rates and, in fact, to do automatic Medicare lookups. And that's one of the beauties of the tool, is that it does lookups for you automatically based upon the zip code that you specify into the tool. In earlier modules, we looked at data loading, and it's the same exact process for ASC, so please review the earlier module on reporting to learn about how to populate the tool. What I will show you is the report that is used for the ASC, and if you've reviewed the physician module, you'll notice it's a very similar report, actually slightly simpler because we don't have the office or facility designation to deal with in the ASC. But I do want to point out that there's a couple of unique benefits here that we bring to the table in ASC. One is that we do retain, for historic purposes, the old Medicare grouper that a particular code belonged to. And we also automatically determine your Medicare rate based on the wage index for the particular Medicare locality that you're located in, and do the arithmetic to tell you what % of Medicare your payer rate represents. Similar to the physician capability, we can weight your codes based on the volume and the payer allowable, so that your most important codes can be sorted in descending order and come to the top, so that when you negotiate with the payer, you know which codes are under reimbursed. And similarly to the physician reimbursement, you can also benchmark your Medicare allowables relative to regional, state, and USA measures. You can do the graphical capability just by clicking on the graph and get the same row of CPT code information available to you by payer. And you can also go to the bottom and get your summary that tells you for all codes combined what your average and weighted average reimbursement is. And your weighted average reimbursement is based upon a weighting of the average based on 2 factors: the volume, the frequency upon which code is performed per year, and the second is the actual price the payer pays you or the payer allowable. And you can see in this case there is quite a wide difference between the average and weighted average, and therefore we tend to use the weighted average in general as a more accurate indicator of what the reimbursement is for a particular ASC, because the weighted average takes into account the ebb and flow of patient volume and surgeries and office visits through your practice, which would not be taken into account in the case of a straight-up average. In any event, you can see that the regional, state, and USA averages are substantially above the weighted average that you're getting reimbursed in this particular example. Similar to the physician capability, if you do not have a code, if a code is looked up and does not have an actual Medicare value, it will be specified here. Sometimes new codes are added by payers, or in fact added in the current year, and they're not in the current Medicare tables. And then the payer rate sometimes is not available, but you've loaded it in the charge master. So we just give you the exception table to show you any codes that were flagged for one of those 2 reasons, and therefore were not included in the analysis. So the same kind of basic reporting The Contract Analyzer tool, which you can review in the Contract Analysis section, is available as well. The only difference in the case of the ASC is we've added some additional questions that are especially pertinent to ASC, such as the inclusion of implants and supplies and surgical reimbursement codes, the reimbursement for multiple procedures. Those sorts of questions are covered in addition to some of the same questions that are covered in the physician reimbursement, and similarly you can store and manage all your ASC documents. So in summary, you have one nice web service that stores, manages all of your contracts and capabilities and allows you to analyze as many payer and ASC agreements as you choose to in this web service, all for a very inexpensive price starting at $9.99 for a 1-month license. Once again, we hope you have derived value out of these demonstrations and look forward to having you as a Revolution Software customer.